Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin, and I'm joined this morning by Honorable IPOOLA OMISORE, who's a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly. He's also an educationist, but as a former member of government, you see soon how this is important. And then Mr. Curtis Adigba, he's a lawyer, he's a public affairs analyst, and he's also a public affairs political consultant. Thank you very much for coming. And I thought we could have this conversation about the cost of governance, because most Nigerians, if you were to ask them, without being a political consultant, they would say straight away that, of course, it's too expensive to run things the way we're running it. They don't even know anything about it. All they do see is, all the visible trappings of it's our turn now. To put both in quotes, it's our turn now. We are in charge. And there's a way it's been done from maybe independence. Why will it come and be my turn now that you will now come and start to cut things down? But the president is moving to reduce on the cost of governance. Things that are familiar to us, things like Esther Code and all of that. All of that is now being adjusted, but I'm sure it's a lot deeper. And Curtis, by the way, just by chance or by coincidence, has been on this theme for quite a while and has been writing a series of articles about it. Now, let me start with Honorable OMISORE. Cost of governance is far too high. Is that a debatable subject, or no? What is it? Is it a debatable subject, or it's a truism?
Of course, it is. The cost of governance in Nigeria, no doubt, is outrageous. I've been part of it. And I know that when you look at the economy
part of it in that you were a member of the House of Assembly.
I was in the House at least for 8 years.
Yes.
I was part of it.
To put it in delicately, you know how much you made in all of that time.
When we talk of made, I know how much the state spent on me. Talking seriously, our economy cannot carry the body we are putting on it. Okay. And the problem is not far-fetched. Right from independence, all the trappings of governance that the British handed over to us, a lot of them should have been cut off. But because Nigerians want to enjoy like the Europeans, they enter it. What do you need the GRA for? What do you need police barracks for? Are there barracks in Britain? All those things that British set up for their own enjoyment and betterment to be superior to the black man entered governance and continue with it. So we had problems. We had parliamentary, which was good enough. We now embrace presidential system, and all the goodies, including the ones even the Americans who own the system did not enjoy. We started to enjoy it. And we are not working. And when you want to eat well and you don't want to work well, something will go for it. Nigeria is a non-productive nation. Mono economy, greedy people, and yet you are using the American system of a wealthy nation, a hardworking nation. So all these things...
That greedy people part, it stung a bit. That was a bit harsh.
You can call it stronger, you can see it.
It stung a bit,
When I'm saying my own, you will allow me to say it, because the president that says cutting Esther Code, he knows what he has said.
Yeah.
The president that is saying that you must not take more than 4 people.
Yes.
He said, no, why are you even taking 4? For God's sake. So, on a serious note, what we really talking about is a topical issue. It's a thing that we must not only talk about it, we must execute it before the masses get annoyed.
Okay. Yeah.
They are already annoyed.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that we are already annoyed.
Yes.
That is, you see, I've included myself.
Even though I know you are not one.
But Curtis, okay, on this subject matter, as I was saying at the beginning, without even knowing as much as no doubt the president and perhaps students of the polity know, it just seems obvious. The only stab at prudence in governance, I think, goes back to the military era of Obasanjo and co. When they came up with this whole matter about buy Nigeria, if there was going to be a state banquet, none of those French dishes, it was all Nigerian. I think even if you were a president, military head of state at the time, the highest public official, you couldn't do more than a Peugeot 505, and then the thing just went haywire, and nowadays in Nigeria, mercifully, we don't have Rolls Royces yet in the presidential fleet. There might be private cars, but we're approaching that. In short, opulence has taken over, big man has taken over, retinue, what is it? Just go there. Give me your thought, because I said that you've been studying this matter. What prompted you?
Okay. First of all, let me start by saying that it's a truism that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Now, the purpose of government, strictly speaking, is just the security and the welfare of the people. Now, the infrastructure of governance exists so that those who run the government can easily tap on them in trying to meet the needs of the people. But what we have found in our own system is that we have too many layers of the government infrastructure. And then these layers and layers of these infrastructures consume the larger chunk of our budget, of our resources, in trying to meet the need of the people. And what you find is that what eventually ends up meeting the needs of the people is nothing compared to what is used in servicing the infrastructure of government that should be meeting the needs of the people. That's where we have problems. Now, some of these problems are caused by the provisions of our Constitution. And then there is also the attitude problem and the level of indiscipline that we have in the system. Now, the president has set the tone, the moral tone, first and foremost by cutting down his personal emoluments. He's also succeeded in doing that with his vice president, and he's made some structural adjustment in the presidency and all that. But this is not enough, because if you look at the system that we operate, you have power centers at different levels, and the amount of personnel or the structure that is set up to run the government is just too heavy on the lean resources that we have as a nation. And that's why you find out that even the number of our civil servants, those in the employment of government, their salaries, which is a recurrent expenditure, is higher than that which we put into capital development. And I give you an example. For example, thank God, he has been a member of the House of, he was a member of House of Assembly. We have 36 states in Nigeria. Now, Section 90, I think 90 or 91 of the Constitution provides that each state of the Federation shall have a state House of Assembly. And no House of Assembly shall be less than 24 in number, but not more than 40. So if you take the average of this number, you're talking about almost 1,000 active daily workers called to make laws and provide oversight. But what do we get? Are we getting enough returns on this investment that we keep doing? And that's not the end. Each of the members of this House of Assembly also have their own aides. And then you have the bureaucracy of the House of Assembly itself. And you ask yourself, what exactly are they doing?
And then when we come over to governments, state governments.
Then you have the governor.
Yes.
Who probably feels that, the government house that he inherited is not good enough. And his first major priority is a capital outlay of about 50 billion to build a new government house. Look at the retinue of aides. Look at the convoy of a state governor. You see a governor going to commission an electric borehole, as they call it, built at the cost of 2 million. The cost of gas that will be bought for the vehicles that will accompany the governor, as well as the local payment overnight for some of the people that travel to the governor will be 10 times over the cost of the borehole that is going to be commissioned.
But this is the way we do things.
And the problem here is
because we made it like that.
Yes, and you see, the problem is the states are not generating, most states are not generating enough funds to sustain what they are doing. So we all go to Abuja at the end of every month and collect money and come back and start sharing. So, I mentioned that some of the problems were created by the law. You then go to the center. We have a Senate made up of 109 members. We have a House of Representatives that are made up of 360 members. The typical budget of the National Assembly every year, minimum is 125 billion. 125 billion, and we have not succeeded in doing anything to reduce. As we sit here, we don't even know how much a member of the Senate or House of Rep earns, but we can speculate based on what one of them said. That's one issue, that they are so united across party lines. Nobody will
break ranks on that.
Come and tell you what is going on. So then the Constitution again provides that from each state of the Federation, government must appoint a minister. When you are talking of countries like the United States, a big country, they have only 20 secretaries or ministers. But in Nigeria, we have to pick a minister from each state, and we have to maintain this minister, provide. So everything is just wrong with the system. Go to the National Assembly again, we copy the presidential system from America, and we try to tweak it, in a way that will work for us. In Nigeria, the president of the Senate is a huge office. It's number 3. But in America, the vice president doubles as the president of the Senate. So you've taken care of that expenditure. We have a deputy president of the Senate, which we don't have in America.
A lot of those.
We have deputy speaker in this structure that you don't have in America. Okay? So then there are other offices that are not.
Indeed. Thank you, Curtis. I'm going to come back to you. And coming back to Honorable IPOOLA OMISORE, who, as I said, and as is well known, was a member of the Lagos State House of Assembly. In the first term of the president, there were complaints from party faithful that, look, nothing has happened. We worked, and so it was an internal matter of the party, but it was acknowledged by the presidency as an issue, if not problem. And that, please bear with us next time, so next time has come. So there's also, adding to everything that Curtis has said, there's also that whole aspect of there are workers, there are foot soldiers, and they have to be compensated, whether or not they have any skills. In fact, one of the ways to assure yourself it is thought I may be inaccurate is that, look, be seen to be part of the whole effort to put the man or the woman in office, and then you can come and sit back and expect to be compensated.
African mentality is what is worrying us. To make money, to be in government, to be part of government. You see, we are...
Because it's prestigious. Because money comes with it.
Too lucrative.
Yeah, okay, that's the word. That's the Nigerian, especially.
If you look at the parliamentary system, why we ditch it, I don't even know. And the presidential system we have adopted, we are doing more than they are doing there. Like he said, no deputy speaker in America, no deputy senate president in America. And all those things we have added. Who says we need Senate? What do we not need bicameral for? The Senate has turned to a dumping ground, a sleeping guest house for our ex-governors who have made money.
Yeah, but it's not likely to change, is it? There are people who are listening to this and are probably having an upset stomach as a result of knowing exactly where they happen to be, and that all of this thing that is going on. You see now, it is coming to my turn now. It is coming to my turn, and look at all the nonsense that they're talking about. This is how some people are going to be looking at it.
If we are looking at that, we will not make changes. You see, they said for those who make peaceful changes impossible, make forceful changes inevitable. The youths are hungry. The public are angry. When you say you are a senator, you have made money for 8 years. In fact, some of them were a senator before, went to governorship for 8 years, and went back to the Senate to do what? And yet, salaries are guarded. I know some colleagues that we were together at the House of Assembly in Lagos. We were saying they are earning too much in Abuja. They got there now.
No more noise.
They are not talking.
No more noise.
On a serious note, we must accept, and the politicians and those in authority must accept that we must cut down. Even our president riding many jets, he should cut down. Well, which jet is the president or prime minister of Britain using? So all these things we are talking about, it should not be a lip service. It's a thing that must be done.
That is the point that I was hoping that
cosmetic.
we could look at, because
if it's not constitutional, it's cosmetic. If the president is going to say another president will come, once upon a time Obasanjo had a low profile. He had
that was before.
No, but if it is constitutional.
No, that was before.
That was before. What I'm saying is that we should
Former
look
President Obasanjo, I'm not too sure the extent to which he is subscribing to any law.
What I'm saying is that if it's constitutional, most of these things will come down. We must change the face of governance.
But Curtis has just finished saying that the Constitution has also added some of these challenges. But let me bring Rashid in the UK. Good morning, Rashid.
Good morning, Okuyori.
Thank you very much for calling in, sir.
Thank you. Yes, I'm a first-time caller.
Okay, good. We're delighted to have you. Welcome. Please go ahead.
Okuyori, I've been watching this program for a long time, and I'm trying to get through. Well, thank God, it's my first time. Most of the program, we that living abroad, I left Nigeria about 12 years ago. I'll tell you something. I'm very angry, very, very angry for the way I see the Nigeria state going to now. I'm not educated.
Are you angry that the government
with everything
is moving to reduce the cost of governance?
Hold on, Okuyori, hold on. Look at what happened yesterday. Did you watch the View program about a guy that came and talked about what police are doing in Nigeria? The whole system is messed up.
No, well,
if you think we are enjoying abroad, we are not enjoying abroad.
Okay,
yeah?
but reverting to today's subject matter on this morning on TVC.
It doesn't work. Everybody's corrupt. So what we have to do is that listen, I have a suggestion. I think we should try and go back and change the whole constitution. It doesn't work for us.
Okay.
How can we be slaving ourselves?
Okay.
A country, imagine you're in London here. You can never employ a cook or a gate man. A country that employ its own people as a cook, as a gate man, it's a slave country. How do you think a white man came to Africa and slave us? It's because we've been slaving ourselves.
Okay, Rashid, I get you.
So
I hear what you're saying.
Why?
We're talking about reducing the cost of governance.
You know,
I don't know that Rashid really got,
No, I think the problem here is that Rashid, with due respect to him, is sitting on his comfortable chair somewhere else and taking the long view of the problem that we have here. When people don't agree with what is happening in the United Kingdom, what do? They come out to protest and demand that change be made. Rashid cannot sit in London. He has a choice of where he wants to live, but he cannot sit in London and look at our entire system and say everything is completely not okay. I am calling on Rashid on behalf of Nigerians that he should please come, let's join in the struggle to free this country. I think we've done enough condemnation. We should be moving forward on how we build solution on how we build our country. Yeah.
Okay. Mazi Okorafo, early calling today. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Curtis. Good
morning, my brother.
Morning.
Honest, the federal government directives is a welcome development. This development is long overdue. Now you ask yourself, when a governor is leaving the office, he's going with the car, packing everything, and even spoons, pot, everything.
No, Mazi, I understand. I'm sure. Is it as bad?
It's on the television. But what I'm trying to put across is that when the new government comes in now, you start buying new cars and the rest. What are you doing with it now? And even not only the government alone, if you go to federal establishment, parastatals, when the DG comes in now, he would like to bring a new car. Now the old one, now what you need, a car of 20 million, they will now auction it maybe 300,000. I told my wife that I said, why not arrange with here for them to give you that car one? I said they should bring it now. A car is 20 million. I send 300 to the organ to carry go as a buy this, which is a problem. And the new person coming now, you now going for a new project, going to buy chains of just fleet of cars. What are we doing with all these things? Now look at the road. Even the road to the organization there is very, very bad. That even then, the most of the money that is to buy all those, they could have used it to start the road and start waiting for government at least to compensate them. But they will not do it. Honestly speaking, what the federal government have said now, I wish they would do it before December. Reduce all these costs of governance is too much. Now you are traveling, you are going on tour, your government tour. You carry your wife, 2 of your children, everybody, the same flight. You are going there to business class. How much is business class? How much? And when you go to, you are not going to all this hotel. You are going to all those big hotels where you sleep in Makosa bed, Makosa everything case. This is not government cost. And at the end of the day, people are suffering. The workers are not being paid their salary. The workers are not paid their allowances. You do from money to now, they will say you collect your allowance. They will tell that there's no money. But your guy is traveling. There is money. This is that we should reduce all these costs for us to move forward. Honestly speaking, congratulations to the president. The area he built before December, the better. Honestly speaking, Sayori, thank you very much. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Progress their life and the people in the studio. Thank you very much.
I think he's made some valid points, but this is not even where the crux of the matter is. You must also understand that the president do not control the state governors. The governors are leaders of independent system of government or level of government, and so they control what they want to spend and how they spend it. Because the president does not allocate the security votes to the governors. They're working with their House of Assembly, allocate votes to themselves. So the president has set the tone, like we said, and it's his responsibility as a leader to set that tone and say, look, I think the cost of governance is just too high. We have to look. He started.
Whether they will follow it is another case.
Yes,
because as you know, the president declared his assets, the vice president declared his assets. How many governors followed suit?
Well, I think all the governors, also have to declare their assets, but they have not made it public, or made them public rather. So, but the point here is that even at the federal level, there's still work to be done. I think the president is just scratching the surface of the problem. We still need to take a look at the budget of the National Assembly. We still need to tinker with that system. Do we even need do we need 2 houses of the National Assembly? And if we do, is it possible to reduce the number? To say, for instance, let's have 2 senators per state. You understand? Or do we reduce the number of the House or members of the House of Representatives? Or do we do with part-time National Assembly, whereby on need-to-do basis, they come and sit down? Why their leadership, the president or whoever, cannot occupy those offices in case there is a need, and then he can reach out to the members of the committee or those that he needs to work with. That way we will cut down a lot of costs.
That is if we want to do it.
If we want to do it.
It can be done.
Senegal has done it in Africa by eliminating the Senate.
Yes, Senegal. But let me bring in Okorie has come on in Abia State. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yuri.
Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, this is my first time of getting through to this line.
Okay, we're glad to have you.
Yeah. Yes, I want to make contribution to the subject matter.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's about the issue on ground, the cost of governance. I'm speaking from experience. I was once an elected councillor. I was once an elected councillor, served in BENUE, local government. Honestly, I want to say it's high time that the cost of governance be looked into. And the way things are being done, it is not going to be sustainable. The essence of having government is for the welfare of the citizen and for things to be done rightly in the country. It is not all about...
Well, I think you're listening to yourself, and that is slowing us down.
Yes.
Because you're listening to yourself as it comes back to you, please just, Mr. Korie, just go forward. You say it, we'll hear it. Don't listen for the feedback/echo. Are you still there? He's gone. But he was saying very much what we have also been saying here. the Constitution has been pointed to, but there's also the political attitude, the political philosophy. Otherwise, because I referred to the inconsequential...
That's what I say, the attitude and discipline.
Yes, where people attach themselves to candidates with the hope that the candidate will win, and I will then be seen to have been one of the foot soldiers, and that means I deserve some part of this national cake. I purposely chose that expression because that's the way it's seen. This is in our political attitude, in our political philosophy. So much so that even the president attested to the fact that he knew that there were party faithful that were angry, that were feeling hard done by, but that they should be patient. It will be fixed. But now the president has come and said, wait a minute, look at it. This thing is not sustainable. We've got to reduce the cost of governance. So you politicians say, I don't know the extent to which you're going to sign up for this whole idea.
See, the problem we have is that the input into getting to office is so much that there is tendency of you...
The cost of arriving...
The cost of even arriving in office...
is so high.
The cost of the usage of manpower...
Oh, dear.
Of hunger zone, of, foot soldiers...
Yes.
...are so much that when you get to office, those two are looking forward to having a share of the action. So, in that sense, we must look at our political system. There's too much money
when you speak like that, sir, because I've never been in that position before, I mean,
I'm telling you from experience.
Is it that the person who is vying for the office comes up with the goods, the funds, or the party?
I think it is the system. The system whereby you need to do so much to get in, and you cannot do it alone.
So much financially?
Financially and materially and human.
Okay, okay.
I mean,
and you must pay for all these services.
I have voted for people in Britain.
Yeah.
And I do not see all those things we see here, there. And he doesn't have any people to go and pay back. He doesn't have any people to carry. Because when you look at it, even the input to collect a form to run a race is so much. It's as if those in the party say, you are coming to us. This is our own time to make money. Go and bring 10 million.
So you must be...
So all these things, we have to look at it. That's why I say, it's not enough for a president to just talk. We need to look at that constitution and that political system.
Okay, let me bring in Austin in Manchester. Austin has been waiting. Good morning, Austin. Mr. Austin in Manchester. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is it's a good development. It's a good development in the sense that government have been wasting time in order to reduce the cost of governance. I think the major aspect is that the legislature's allowance needs to be reduced. Their sitting allowance needs to be reduced. They are earning far too much fabulous money, and they are living extravagant life. And their traveling allowance too needs to be reduced. The presidential trip to anywhere in the world needs to be reduced. There's no point the president is traveling and going with the entire country. As a matter of fact, all these things are the thing that is giving the government high cost, but especially the legislators, the ministers, their allowance needs to be reduced.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for calling in. Okay, I'll nip off on a quick break. We'll be right back to continue with this conversation and indeed your calls, your impressions on the initiative of government to reduce the size of governance, cost of governance. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. And our conversation this morning and impressions that we're getting from you concern the initiative of the federal government to maybe confront this whole matter of reducing the cost of governance. And we've been hearing from you. Honorable IPOOLA OMISORE, a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, is in the House, and Curtis Adigba, who is a political consultant, among other things, and a lawyer, is also here. Curtis, we were talking about, when we were off air, about why some delegations are humongous.
Yeah, I think each time that the president has got to travel, it depends on the nature of the travel that he's got, of the engagement. For instance, if the president is going to address the United Nations General Assembly, for instance, you cannot expect that the president will just go with his ADC. That is not done anywhere in the world. He has to go with Minister of Foreign Affairs and some other people that will be engaged in one kind of meetings or the other. If he's going on a private visit, it's a different thing. So the nature of engagement determines the entourage of the president. And I think that's all over the world.
That seems only sensible and logical.
Yes, that's all over the world. Now, having said that, there is a need, like I said, for the president to continue on the path that he has chosen by trying to cut down the cost of government. We have three arms of government. We don't have problem with the judiciary. In fact, they are the small partner in the setup, so to say. It's whatever is given to them that they take and manage. So they don't have problem. We have problem basically with the executive and the legislature. And this is where we need to do a lot of tinkering. Now, he said, oh, who will cut down on the cost? In other words, why do you expect that the National Assembly will take a decision, that will remove the Senate from existence? You see, and this is where leadership comes in, where you have people who are prepared to make sacrifice for the country to move forward. So that's also very key. And of course, you now understand that one senator, former governor of Imo State, is also beginning to talk to his colleagues along that line and say, look, why do we need 3 senators per state?
Yes.
What are we doing here that one senator cannot do?
Yes. Yesterday we had Professor Samuel here. He's also a political, heavyweight in Lagos State, and he was talking about the days past when we used to have statesmen that have, unfortunately, his words, been replaced by political rascals. So this harks back to some of what he's saying. But Emmanuel in OTUKPO, BENUE State, good morning, sir.
All right, good morning,
That's
Yori.
That's my brother.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to Curtis Adigba.
Morning.
And good morning to our astute politician, OMISORE.
How are you, my brother?
I'm very happy for this topic this morning.
Okay.
You see, this, in the case of Nigeria, is a deep-seated corruption planted in 1999 by the father of corruption himself. And it will be very difficult to uproot it, but Buhari has started with this first step.
Okay.
And I encourage him, and all Nigerians are supposed to encourage him to continue with this work and complete it.
Okay.
You see, when he came in 2015, you can see the kind of battle they gave him. They fought him to a standstill. But he managed to survive. This is second tenor. The bulldozer will bulldoze his way through. And God will help Nigerians. God will help us.
All right, then.
See, the politicians are getting the feeling. Their body is also talking to them. With the beating of Ekweremadu in Germany, and OTUKPO narrowly escaped it in Spain. In fact, they were waiting for Saraki in the U.S. and many others. But you see, they will still beat them up. And they know that it will soon start in Nigeria. That's why Okorocha is talking about reducing the number of senators per state. If they don't do it, they will be stoned on the streets of Nigeria. You see, everybody is angry. We are very, very angry and we are vexed. And you see, a crowd is a mob. It's a beast without brain. When it will start, it will be spontaneous, and nobody can stop it.
Well,
so Buhari is trying to help politicians, and they must coin into it.
Okay.
They must coin into what Buhari is doing for them.
All right.
If not, their lives are in danger.
Wait now, Mr. Emmanuel. Wait.
Yes, no,
by all means, be in support.
we are
of a
playing along
slimmer
this line of
governance. But you can't be
we are playing-
advocating people taking laws into their own hands, people embarrassing public officials.
I think it's out of frustration.
Yes.
Look at what happened in Bayelsa State about 2 weeks ago, where the outgoing governor, who has less than 4 months, appointed 60 new special assistants.
Now, why would that happen?
To the governor. Some said, oh, it's an ability to consolidate on the power base of his party and ensure that the state is delivered to the PDP. But look, we are using the resources of the people to play politics, to do all this. We don't need it. Look, the reality is that the people who are in power today should understand that the time is also coming when they'll be out of power. And unfortunately, the trend we have seen in our country is that people just develop the sense of propriety as soon as they're out of power. Then they begin to complain about the same system. The system that they enjoyed, operated, and refused to do anything
and
about
exploited.
it. Yes.
Yes. You wanted to say something, Honorable.
What I'm trying to say is that...
Although, you see, I still go back to, it was, there were people who took momentary pleasure, perhaps, I don't know if that's the way to put it, about some high public officials being embarrassed. But, it was something what
They were not embarrassed. Look, Ekweremadu was not embarrassed because of his role in governance. He was embarrassed because of his perceived role in not supporting IPOP.
Yes. Okay.
I think we must make that distinction.
Okay.
We should not even...
So,
yes.
To me, this is a drive to cut down governance. It's a will of progress.
The cost of governance.
Yes, cost of governance. It is a will of progress that must not be halted. It will go to the states. It should go to the local government. And with all this, when we talk about minimum wage, salaries of staff, it will be affordable. When
because so much waste would have been saved.
When money is... you can imagine some of us, when we write business class, when in the house, can we write it again? Economy, after. So it shows that all this...
then it was part of the national cake. But now that it's coming out of your wallet...
And he would have fought it if they had bought him an economy class that time, when he was in the house.
Yes. Because the system is there.
Yes.
You want to continue to enjoy the system.
Yes.
So that's what I started with saying. When the British left, they had a lot of goodies Europeans were enjoying. When we had independence...
Let's not blame the British.
No, we should blame our people that took over. We should blame the people that took over. They should have started immediately to be an African.
I think Farouk wants to join the conversation. Good morning, Farouk. Mainland in Lagos here.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I enjoyed the discussion. But the only thing I want us to involve is... Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Farouk.
Mr. President is somebody that we knew for a very long time. When he was a military head of state, he sat down somewhere commanding Tunde Idiagbon and others to take several actions in Nigeria that favors us. Now he's the #1 citizen in this country. He's trying to cut down everything about his own salary, the income, everything. No. I think the first thing the president needs to do is just to review this constitution. This president of Senate
you cannot review it.
is somebody that has cordial relationship with the president. Why can't president tell him?
But you realize, sir, Mr. Farouk, you realize that it's in the province of the National Assembly, not in the presidency.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He should call the president, talk to him, let him go and discuss with his people.
To amend the constitution, you need to third majority of the states.
Talk to his members.
Okay.
Let him talk to his members. If they really like Nigeria and like this president, let them take action. We all believe that it was because Saraki and others are not in good terms with President Buhari then. That was why right now they can do that. It is what they can do. This is the time they should do it.
Okay.
And it will be registered in their name that at the 9th National Assembly, so people have done this, and it will remain forever.
Okay.
But I think what every one of them is after is that money. They
Yes,
don't
now.
want to discuss
No,
about
there's
the
no
money
doubt
at
about
all.
it. No doubt.
They are not ready to do that.
Yeah.
So what is the difference from 9th, 7th, 7th, 8th, 6th assembly to this 9th assembly? So it is.
Okay, Mr. Farouk, thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate you. Now let's look at the implication of some of the things you say. You know what it takes to amend the Constitution.
Yeah.
You're going to need a 2/3 majority in every single,
It's not unachievable.
2/3 of the states.
Of the states.
Two-thirds of the states that
houses
say
of the
yay,
National Assembly,
and then
the president giving assent.
What he's saying
Or
is,
be overrided.
he is right. This parliament, the two assemblies, both Senate and the National, they are very more friendly than the last assembly. So what he's saying is that the state of the nation will help the president if he now talks to these friendly chambers to look at it. And I'm sure...
So, the problem has been that people have thought that the National Assembly is not going to legislate against, quote unquote, against itself, even though it will be pro-Nigeria.
No, I think sorry, sir. Part of the problem we've had in trying to amend the Constitution every time is the issue of state creation. Every time we identify, consequential causes that we should make amends to and move this country forward. You see members of the National Assembly
asking for states.
And they're asking for state creation. And so they throw this into the basket. And once that happens, you have about 37, 38 requests for new states. And once there's no movement on that state creation, most of the governors and members of the State House of Assembly don't want to go near the other issues. So it will take, people who are prepared to make sacrifice and say, look, we will have to live for causes that are bigger than our personal or selfish interests and move this country forward. We can't just keep moving this way.
Let me quickly bring in Luke in Abuja. Good morning, Mr. Luke.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. In fact, I've been trying to get this program. I'm happy to have gotten it this
Today
morning.
is a day of first-time callers. We're happy to have you.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. I'm very, very grateful. So let me just go straight to the point. You see, all these talks about Nigeria, we've been talking too much. We've been talking too much about this nation. And this is not what Buhari should be doing now. To cut down in this governance, Buhari should look inwardly. All these things Nigerians are doing. Okay, imagine our minister going in convoy with the Japanese, all these things, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, with all their entourages. Why can't they patronize the nursing motor? And let us start looking inwardly. By patronizing nursing motor, they are cutting down cost of governance. You cannot tell a minister that is coming to Abuja not to come in with his foot soldiers. People help them to rise into politics, to where they are.
And they must be compensated.
By so being, what we see, this should be reduced to 3 per state.
Okay.
This Senate from every state of the senator per state. This number of food soldiers that are coming with them. If 3 is coming, fine. If others are coming along with them, they need them. Let them pay them from their pockets. After all, they earn much.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Luke. Thank you very much.
I was trying to say that expecting the House to make changes might be a bit difficult. If their constitution must be changed by them, we'll wait for it in eternity. But I know that the people that voted us in also have a say at times. If the political awareness we are creating on the media and everywhere, we catch up one day, where every constituent will call their senator, go back to that place. This is what we want. And if that senator cannot return back to his people, those are the times when changes will start.
Well, Maduka in the UK. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Yeah, your topic today is so interesting. Let me start by saying everybody in Nigeria knows that there are so much wastages. Number one, the National Assembly happens to be one of the major areas. Buhari can reduce his salary, but for how long? In the National Assembly, the so-called constituency allowance was a creation of a head of government in the past. It was more of a bribe to the members of National Assembly, and it continued up to today. It has not impacted in any way on Nigerian lives. It's part of the wastages. Because it was created by a president, it is not constitutional. I don't think it's entrenched in any part of Nigerian constitution. No. This same president can also stop it. It took a president to put it in. It can take a president to also stop it. That is a good beginning. Number two, Yori, in civil service in Nigeria, I worked in Nigeria and retired. You must put up to 10 years before you can earn pension. Every member of House of Assembly, after 4 years, earns pension. That is completely, I don't know how I'm going to call it, but that is real stealing. 4 years you earn pension.
Well, is it not? I'm being told here that severance pay is different from a pension. Severance pay is different from a pension, which is what the legislators.
Severance, whatever you call severance, what are you severing from? This is the issue. Okay. After 4 years of a political assignment, you are severed. You come back, re-elected. Another 4 years, you are severed. How many severances? These are the things we should be questioning when we talk of wastages. It doesn't happen anywhere in this world except Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maduka, for calling in.
I think he made some points. This is a country where you will serve as governor for 8 years. Then probably go to the Senate. Yes.
For 4 years.
You work 4 years, and then you are still earning benefit from the state as well as the National Assembly.
A full salary.
Although I think that one has been frowned upon.
No. Well, it's been frowned upon, but it's still on.
So a governor will be earning, haven't stepped down as a governor, and then now he's earning full pay as well.
So, so these things are happening. I think these are, like we said, there are power structures at different levels of governance that we need to look at and take steps. But there's something he talked about, which was that I think he said, the cost of governance of ministers. No, not him. The guy who called before, who talked about innocent.
Okay.
I think there's this thinking, erroneous thinking in this country that all Nigerians must buy innocent. I appreciate
because it's a Nigerian company.
I appreciate an innocent, and I think we should patronize that. But this thing about saying, when you are going to Abuja with your aides, once you buy innocent, then you're succeeded in cutting down costs.
Should not even.
I mean, the choice of innocent should be, or whether to buy innocent or not buy it should be left for Nigerians. But the fact of the matter is that even the innocent vehicles don't come free. So just buying them for your aids does not cut down costs. What I think we should do is take a critical look and then take serious approaches to this issue. For instance, members of the National Assembly recently said we are buying brand new SUVs for all our members. And when Nigerians protested, they said it was an insult for Nigerians to protest. We could look. These things we were told in the past were amortized. That the National Assembly agreed that a certain amount of money will be given to their members, and from there they can buy vehicles for themselves. So why is the government still providing money for them to buy vehicles? Then the other issue we are not even thinking about at all, and which he mentioned in brief, is the cost of election. How much people spend to get elected.
To get into office.
This is a country where instead of helping a candidate to get to an office
by the party,
by contributing your own funds like he's done in other parts of the world, he indicates an interest, and then because you believe that he is going to represent you well, you begin to chip in 1 naira, 2 naira here. So the money that he spends from his own pocket is reduced. When he goes there, he knows that he's going to work for you. But then if he has to sell his houses, borrow money, pledge allegiance to a political godfather, to get funds for him to contest that election, he's not going to represent you.
Okay.
And so we should also look into that.
Mr. Adamu in Papa Lagos. Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello. Did you hear me? Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Okay, sir, in respect of the burning issues today,
okay,
as regard the cost of running governance, I think we have to start with the number of aides. The number of aides, sir. I think, like Mr. President.
You know, there's so many aspects to cutting down on governance. And I hope we're not overemphasizing this retinue of aides. There are so many areas of wastage, leakages. People just like a rankadede kind of a syndrome. So I don't know really that we're going to be saving a heck of a lot from cutting down on the retinue. That's just my own 2 cents. But I just wanted to sort of bring to your attention that, look, there are so many different wastages.
Sir, we are saying the same thing.
Okay.
If we have so many wastages, I think the issue I'm hammering on to is part of the area that we have wastages.
Okay.
Like the issue of AIDS, for example, Mr. President, if I'm not mistaken, he may have more than 500 AIDS. You understand, sir? And none of them will take less than 300 per se as a remuneration. By the time you add this, what are they contributing? You understand, sir? If you come down to the state level too, you will see a state governor having about 358 or thereabout. All boils down on the state resources. You understand, sir? You come down to the local government, like my local government now recently, he has been making so many appointments. Some of them don't even come to the council. At the end of the month, they come and take their money as a kind of political patronage. You understand?
That's what a lot of that goes on. You don't even know what they're doing, but they have been appointed and they will get recompense.
At the end of the month, take the whatever as a political patronage because he has assisted in one way or the other in his locality to come to power. Now he is now part of the way of spending our resources that should be used for, bettering our lives.
And they disappear till 30 days later and come back again.
And come back again and take again. You understand, sir? The same thing with the House of Reps, the Senate, and what have you. You understand, sir? All these things, if it's possible, let it be that if the president will have 50, governor should have 10. Hello, sir?
Yes, we can hear you, but...
Let's take the number of aides and the salaries too should go down to the local government level.
All right.
You understand, sir? And the area of employment too, because it's all what we're talking about, every person that finished university, what have you, should not be waiting for the government employment. Instead of this, we should be refocusing on the creation of a vocational center where people will now, not focus too much on the electioneering offices.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Adamu. Appreciate you.
Justice
in closing,
in closing, we must make sure we expand the scope of wastage area. You know, governors in the constitution.
Expand this. I'm sure you didn't mean it the way it came out.
We have been talking about.
You don't want to expand wastages.
The areas that we should go to make amendments.
Okay.
If you look at it, governors, after 4 years, they must build a house for them, buy 400 million house in their state, and one in Abuja. Deputy governor, one big house in their state, and none in Abuja. They take salary for life. All these things are then necessary. You are giving money to the rich. Which governor doesn't have a good house? So all these areas where we are wasting money.
But at least
should be looked at.
You know what? The thing is that things have progressively gotten worse in our country. When you talked about the British handed over government to us. The first set of people that ran our government were not as wasteful as what we have right now. Now, I think this is the problem. In the 70s, my father was a supervisory councillor for education in OTUKPO local government. OTUKPO local government had been broken into about 4 local governments today. Out of the old OTUKPO local government, they've created APA, Agatu, and Ohimini. So you can see how large the local government was. My dad had a Land Cruiser Jeep, and he goes to visit schools within the local government. No matter how late he returns to our family home in OTUKPO, even if it's 1, 2 a.m., his vehicle must be taken to the secretariat of the government and parked there, and brought back the next morning to pick him to the office.
That was the way it was done those days.
So the point I'm trying to make is I think over time, the practices of governance broke down in the sense that we began to personalize and appropriate state resources.
Expenses
and that's what
bloated.
Yes, so even for those in offices too, you know, it's as easy as calling somebody you like and say, take a job.
Yeah.
Essay to the governor, essay to councillor, essay to chairman,
essay
to the wife of the governor. A governor has 3 wives, which is his right. It's his legitimate right. But then he appropriates state resources in appointing SA1, SA2, SA3. So we need to take a look at the cost of governance. Indeed. Otherwise, we're not going to move forward.
And quite frankly, we've run out of time, but at least that this initiative has come from government, it's like a response to what has been said by commentators right through the decades. And we need to see how far it can go. Because, Honorable, you explained to us, there's also the cost of getting into office. And so, you know, people think about that. But I want to thank you very much, Honorable IPOOLA OMISORE, for coming on the program. And Mr. Curtis Adigba, thanks very much for coming on as well. And indeed, thank you to you guys out there at home, in the UK, in diaspora, and here. Without you, it wouldn't be the same. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Fulani. Bye-bye for now.